Hello, my loves. This is your July soul message. The energies are so intense right now. I feel like I say that every month and they just keep ratcheting up. So, this month, the soul message is called Spirals of Light. So, this is kind of an extension of June. What did we have? Portals of Love. And so there was this circular energy that was happening in June, and it's still here in July, but I saw it as being lighter than that and full of light. And so what's happening as I'm seeing it is it's like there's spirals of light coming into our energy field around our crown and all the way around our spinal column and in our energy field. And it has this kind of dualistic balancing effect. So on the one hand, you hear the word spiral of light and it sounds like, oh, wonderful, brilliant, happiness. But it's like, it almost feels like that kind of world is no longer. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but that we can't live in one side or the other in this kind of polarized way anymore. And so our systems are having to learn to balance, to be okay and tolerate the wide range of emotions that we actually do have. Because it isn't true to say that we don't have this wide range of emotions. It isn't true to say that we only have the happy, joyful feelings that we want to have. We have all of the fear and the anxiety and the pain and everything as well. We might bury it, we might pretend that it's not there. But it absolutely is there. And when we don't acknowledge that it's there, it just gets this topsy-turvy kind of experience happening. And from having done that for so many centuries, it's like we're getting this kind of swing backwards. And so let me talk about the spirals of light, because I'm seeing multiple things as the light is coming in. So it's like we're getting this infusion of energy, of high vibrational light, which is wonderful and beautiful, right? But just like if you had a rubber band and you were pulling on one side of the rubber band to expand the light that was on the planet, or to expand the light in your body, or let's say you are deepening your meditation practice and you're starting to go that direction, right? When you pull on the rubber band this way, you're automatically pulling it on this way, on this side. You cannot pull the rubber band in only one direction. It's going to come with you, or it's going, if you get enough force, it's going to push on this side of the rubber band as well. So what I mean by all of that is when you get an infusion of light, the dark is going to come to meet it as well. You don't get one or the other. And so, because it has to balance, right? So as you're getting this infusion of light in your psyche, in your energy field, in your physical body, what body did I miss? Physical, emotional, that's what it was. Emotional, spiritual, mental, and then your heart body. So when you're getting an infusion of light in all of those places, all the stuck, dense energy that matches that light, whatever dark, that dense, that has been pushing down to keep that light from expanding, well, when you get an infusion from the outside of light like that, the dark has to come up and be cleansed and be removed, be pulled out as well. So I have personally been experiencing this the last couple days as like outrageous anxiety, like more than I've ever felt before, that doesn't have a specific note to it. Like I can look at things and go, okay, maybe it's about that, maybe it's about that. But more than anything, it feels like it's just energy that's moving through. And it's kind of like, for lack of a better word, I feel like it's like as the ghosts are being like exorcised out of our bodies, while they're leaving, we feel them in their entirety, in like a massive way, in the height of their expression, because it's kind of like, you notice it. Like I don't know, if you're doing some kind of deep cleaning work or whatever, and you get down on the floor and you start cleaning the floor, you start seeing how much dirt is actually there. It's kind of that, but of course, a lot more painful when it's like emotional stuff and physical stuff, like trauma that's been buried in your body. And so it's kind of like this teeter-totter. Okay, how do I want to say that? It's not, teeter-totter is not quite the right word. But when there has been repressed energy that's pushed down, dark, dense energy that's holding the light in place from being able to expand, when that gets going, like this has to come out. So I'm seeing the spirals as like kind of wide, and the space in between the spirals is there to create space to let the dark trauma and whatever's being buried and held in the psyche and the emotions and the physical body, all of it. But we have to, as it's coming out, we have to see it, we have to witness it, we have to experience it, we have to be with it. So the way that I have been dealing with it and kind of trying to hold myself during it is, if you close your eyes and try to find where the discomfort is in your body and like locate it physically, and then allow space for it and talk to it. And you'll find a lot of times, like, okay, it feels like a scared, wounded child that is afraid of something. And if you can find out what it's afraid of, you can befriend it. And in this way, we're kind of re-parenting ourselves and helping ourselves with that. So to say spirals of light sounds like a beautiful, light, happy-go-lucky thing. And hopefully, like, we'll get there. But there is this energy of kind of, it feels like an inner, like, horror show right now, like a Hall of Mirrors or something, where all of the, okay, I want to say this in a different way. The things in your life that are imbalanced are being revealed. Okay, so that's another way to look at it. So as you're starting to feel where the pain is showing you where something is out of balance. And it's like, oh, I need to tweak this. I need to change this. I need to, adjust this thing. And I need, whatever it is, like I need more rest, or I need more friendship, or I need more schedule, I need more routine, I need more rest, whatever it is. It's like, it's going to be different for everybody. So that's kind of the general gist. And I wrote a whole bunch more in the blog, but it doesn't feel necessary to repeat it all. So a couple things that I am suggesting for this month. Number one, let the tears come, because they have to come. They have to come in order to let the grief leave, in order to let the stuck energy come. And maybe it's not tears, maybe it's anger, maybe it's rage, maybe it's some other emotion that you have to move through. But the tear ducts are connected to the liver. They're on the liver channel. And am I saying that right? Maybe I'm saying that wrong. Is it on the lung channel? I thought that it was the liver, but it might be the lungs as well, as I'm saying that now. But I know that they're part of detoxing, and grief is stored in the lungs, and in the liver is usually anger. So both of those things can come, but the point of it doesn't matter what channel. The point is that when you cry, you are literally detoxing. So it's more important to let the tears come and to not make a story about it, and to not say, well, this is what, I have to find a solution for this, or I have to stop the tears from coming. It's more important to let the tears come, and even if that's in brief spurts. Because number one, as you're letting the tears come, what usually happens for me is I'll get visuals about what it is, or about what energy is kind of leaving. And so you can be a witness to the experience and see what's happening, and parent yourself in that way. This other thing that I've been playing with that I want to suggest because it's a really cool practice. I came across a woman named Dr. Julie Mossbridge on Insight Timer. And if you had the paid version, she has a course on there called The Science of Your Calling. And I'm only about 10 days into a 30-day course, but it's pretty cool. And she has something in there that she calls the yesing practice. And so it's like anything that comes across your path that is especially challenging, but the good things too, you just say yes to it. Like if your kid's crying, if something's happening that you don't want, that is like, oh, I wish I was doing this thing, or I think I'm supposed to be doing this thing, but this thing comes up and you have to go over here. Or, you know, someone saying something that's triggering you or whatever, just to literally look at it. And, you know, I haven't been saying it out loud, but to myself, I'm just saying yes, 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 yes. And as you do this, you notice that the edges of the resistance start to soften and all of the things start to kind of become balanced in their level of importance. You know how something can have like a higher trigger and something else is like, you know, somebody can say something to you that doesn't trigger you at all, and then somebody else says something and it triggers, you know, really intensely. Well, as you're doing this yesing practice, it kind of starts balancing all of those things where none of them have like the same amount of urgency. They're just kind of all, you know, not as important. And this brings me to my third one, which I wanted to talk about this earlier, but this will be the invitation to do that now. So I wrote it in the blog as distraction practice, but what I mean is practicing being present with yourself to counterbalance all of the distraction, because that's the other energy that I'm feeling right now, is like this intense amount of distraction energy that's coming, you know, that feels like it's like a storm swirling around us. And it's so interesting that it's happening in summer, because summer is usually like this, you know, heightened time where, you know, you're out in nature more and you're doing all these things that like really help balance and ground. And yet I'm feeling all this spirally distractive energy that is kind of pulling us off of our center. And so when I say distraction practice, what I mean is grab all of your tools right now that you use, that you are drawn to: meditation, chanting, yoga nidra, you know, booking a session with me or talking with a trusted friend, where you can just literally say, this is what's happening, and honoring it and being present with it. So I'm kind of talking about two different things right now, but there's kind of a mental acuity that we need to get in place. And that has to do with working with the body and working with the mind and working the body out so it's tired, so it doesn't have extra energy to pay attention to the distractions. And then also really routinely doing that meditation practice to calm yourself so you can find the eye of the storm, in essence. And then what I was talking about with talking with a trusted friend, I had to do that today when I was really struggling. And what I saw in that beautiful interaction with this friend was that a solution didn't need to be found. And you find that so often with kids too, especially like, you know, when they're having a tantrum or whatever. And so we have to apply the same practice and principle with ourselves. Is when there's an inner upset, you don't have to know what it is. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is make space for witnessing it. And so when you call a friend and you say, hey, like, I'm really struggling right now, can I talk with you about this? Not only does it put the friend on notice that it's like, oh, this isn't just a regular conversation, like you're asking to hold space, right? So it alerts them and lets them know, like, this is what's happening. That's what creates like a clear container for it to happen. And then you can share, or vice versa, you know, what's going on. And it's just by simply the verbalization of what's happening, it starts to dissipate and it starts to feel like, okay, that's actually not as big of a deal as I thought that it was. And it's just such a beautiful, beautiful thing. So we'll pull a card, but I I'll talk about the oils actually real quick before I do that. So one oil came immediately, and then as I was writing the blog, another one came underneath it, of course, because that's how it's visually, the energy of it is even working. So the first one is White Angelica. It's one of my absolute favorites. I brought a bottle down here to show you how I use it. So you can diffuse it, you can put it in a roller, you can do whatever. But White Angelica is like, think of it as like an angel in a bottle. It is auric protection. If you are sensitive, if you are, you get like jostled by energy of being out in the world or coming home or having interactions or whatever, you can use it before you leave for protection. You can use it again when you come back to kind of clear the energy. I have a spray bottle that I brought down to show you. I have a spray bottle. There's about 10 drops of White Angelica in here and water. And you just mix it together. I keep this in my office and I use it after every session that I do. I use it after teaching a class, after doing recordings, after doing any of this kind of stuff, and just to like clear the energy for myself. I find it so yummy. And if you like this bottle or you want one like it, it's from Whimsy and Wellness, and there's a link on the favorites page under my shop. If you go to my website and you hover over the shop menu, another menu will drop down that says favorites, or you can click on shop, and in the top banner there's a button there for favorites, and it goes to a secret page on my website that has all my favorite stuff on there. There's some Amazon things, and then there's also a link to Whimsy and Wellness and some other things there. And then the second oil that came, as I was almost done and I thought that we were done, I heard vetiver. And similar to last month, this is what's so crazy, is like we have these wild, beautiful, light, vibrant, what I would call kind of like upper chakra energies coming in that are higher vibrating. But also to balance that, we have to go down into the earth and we have to root. So last month we had myrrh, which is the energy of the divine feminine, of Mother Earth, really dense. You have to actually use a dropper lid or something to even get it out because it's so thick. But vetiver is another one, a little bit, it's about the same thickness. I don't have the bottle with me here because I'm out of it, but it's delicious, absolutely delicious. It's the oil of centering and descent. And I wrote a little bit about it in the blog if you want to read about that. But both vetiver and myrrh are in my root chakra. So if you don't have a Young Living account, if you're not someone that wants to like get into oils and, learn about the different properties of them, I mean, it's one of my favorite things because it's like emotional support right in a bottle. I mean, you can't get any better, in my opinion. And it teaches your body and your system the energetic properties of the plant. So you're communing with the nervous system of the plant, which upgrades your nervous system to learn how to do what it does. But regardless of that, both of the oils are in root chakra. So last month, root chakra was a great one to work with, and it is again this month because that's where we are. We're still here because it's like we're expanding and getting pulled up, and there's parts of that feel great. And then it's like, oh my God, on the other side of it, we feel kind of unearthed, and we need that kind of grounding, heavy energy to bring us down and to remind us who we are and what's important. It's like we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So we have to balance both sides of that. You can't just hang in the spiritual all the time and not be in the physical. The last several years, especially through COVID, I mean, physical practice has been huge, and it's not something that I have really hung out with much, but that's when I got a Peloton and really started watching my physical activity and making sure to get it in because it affects so much. And it helps us be here and remember that we are human and we have to stay here. Hang on. Ooh, I just thought I felt it and then it left. What do we got here? Oh my God, did we get this? This wasn't last month. I think this was for the new moon, just 2 weeks ago. This is wild that we're getting this energy again, and it feels very similar. So if you don't know about moon ceremonies, I do them twice a month, full and new moon. They're pre-recorded and they're in my shop. You can download them individually. You can also join what's called the Wild Moon community and get them automatically. And then there's an online group of other women that are in the group, and you can connect with them and talk with them. And I post the downloads in there every month. And then you can also upgrade to do Wild Moon community. It's called the all-inclusive, and it includes Women's Circle and Intuitive Collage. And you can do Women's Circle and Intuitive Collage also separately if you want to just come, once in a while. But that's available too. And that's on the events page of my website. You can just sign up for those individually. But I'm pretty positive we had the same card at the new moon just 2 weeks ago. And as I'm recording this, we'll have a full moon here in a couple days as well. Okay, so it's sap of the moon plant. And it's interesting because as I look at this image, it's very similar to the energy that I feel right here. You've got like the spirals of light. So all this white feels like the light, but then you have the dark in between it. And even out in, outer space, you've got all the dark, but then you've got these bright lights. And so it's kind of showing us and reminding us of that need for balance. But let's see what it says, because I kind of forgot what the energy of it was. Okay, nocturnal sacred water of the unconscious. And it has the Latin word on here too. So it says succus lunarius, or lunaria, is an ancient substance said to be born of water, plant, and moonlight. This elixir develops in the depth of night and is thus a metaphor for the wellspring of the unconscious. And as I'm reading this now, I'm feeling everything about the oils, like the word elixir, the depth of the night, the wellspring of the unconscious, the water, the plant, the moonlight. It's like how, things grow in the fertile dark, and so much is happening in the unseen realm that, we can't tell that it's happening all the time. So when this alchemical magic is afoot, it's all about dreams. The answer you are seeking will not come from the intellect nor the opinion of others. It will surface from the depths as if rising from the ancient waters of your memory. The work is to rest, restore, and awaken your celestial senses. Do this by pausing, by releasing your grip. The sap of the moon plant signifies you are in the deep territory of destiny and the imagination. This is a mythic moment. The dream is waiting to show itself, but awaits your sincere invitation. Ask and rest. All will be revealed. To go deeper, track your dreams for the next 3 nights. To ponder the divine feminine. So something in my conversation today, and just kind of what I've been going through, is the sense of the need to be so present with ourselves. And it's so easy that goes back to that talk I was, that conversation about distraction. And we can get so easily distracted by, the nonsense of the mind, which is why, the need for meditation is so intense right now. There are many names for this sacred elixir: soma, nectar, aqua vitae, aqua nostra, and vinum ardens, to name a few. Remember, dreams are the mother tongue of humanity. Sap of the moon plant is said to be linked to the pineal gland and can be increased by the practice of meditation. Sitting for a few minutes in the evening is especially beneficial. I've just been noticing this deep need. It's been coming for the whole part of the year. That's why I started what I thought was going to be the Wild Sisterhood, which turned into the Wild Community, the Wild Moon Community, and now I think the Wild Sisterhood is going to be a mentorship starting in the fall. But even that, I've been completely there. It's like I've swung from complete knowing and understanding to complete unknowing and unraveling and thinking it's going to go away and not even happen. It's so wild. One of my teachers used to talk about the contraction before the expansion. And that's what it feels like right now. Like we're going through such a energetic upgrade and such a expansion that the contraction has to also be there. But what was I even saying? Just, that need for meditation and routine. And it's why I started doing the moon ceremonies in the first place, because we're so out of touch with cycles of nature and time that we need something that reminds us that we're all on the same, we're all the same, and we're all on the same rhythm. We all move to the same heartbeat in the center of the earth. And we forget that oftentimes because of these devices and being so connected to our computers. And, I heard something, it's why people have gotten so into like the blue light glasses and all that stuff. Because when you're looking at the computer all the time, your body gets synced with the light that's in the device instead of the light that's in the sky. And it causes sleep disruption and all kinds of stuff because our body doesn't know any different. It just sees the light and thinks, oh, there's light there. Okay, it's telling my body and my mind that I'm supposed to be awake. So anyways, it's, if ever you've gone camping or anything like that, that it's like there's this deep, dense sense of nature coming around you and holding you like a blanket, and there isn't all the distraction of light pollution and everything too. So anything, anyway, I didn't write it down, the dates for Women's Circle and Intuitive Collage. I believe Women's Circle is on the 7th and Intuitive Collage is on the 21st, but they're both on my website as well. So come and join us. I would love to have you. Women's Circle, I typically go a little bit through the energy that I kind of see, and then we open it up for sharing, and everyone kind of talks about what's going on for them, and then I sort of thread it and weave it through back to the themes that are coming up so that we can better be witnessed and see ourselves and understand ourselves. And then Intuitive Collage is what I call, it's like an oracle reading that you create that unfolds in front of you. So you'll ask a question and then you'll pull images without looking at them, and then you'll make a collage based on the images that you pulled. And so it's not about being an artist. It's not about, you don't have to know what you're doing. You don't just come with paper and scissors and glue stick and magazine tear sheets. That's it. Or images you print out online. It's really, really beautiful. And if you join the Wild Moon community and you're part of doing that, a group of us have been doing it since January already. So we have this beautiful book with all of these new moon and full moon collages, and I've been doing one for every month as well. And it's such a beautiful way to track back and look at where you've come and because we all do like oracle readings, or we'll do, channeled messages for ourselves, or we'll do whatever. And then they get stuck in all these different places. I know they do for me. And then you forget what they are. So it's really this beautiful opportunity to have this book that is tracking your cycles and your messages and everything like that. So I really, really love it. All right. I'll end with a beautiful spray of white angelica. If you need help with Young Living oils, if you do want to get started, just reach out to me. I have a free consult and I can chat with you about what oils are right for you or what might be a great thing for your first order. I really, really, really love it. I've switched out all my physical body products, my cleaning products, my laundry, everything. And I feel so much better because of it. It is so nice to get those toxins out of your home, because you got to realize those are one of the distractions that we are being hit with. So, all right, blessings. I almost want to just take a deep breath and say, whew, let's send out a prayer for a happy, positive, healing month, and the courage to witness and be with the things that are leaving right now. And honor them as they leave, because they have been protectors and they have been guides, even though it feels horrible when you notice that they're there, or it feels horrible when they're leaving. They have protected you up to now and you have needed them. And, when it's time for them to go, it's time for them to go, and you can thank them for all that they've done for you. So Anyways, all right. I love you so much. In the blog, I linked a couple books, a couple practices, the new Yoga Nidra that I just posted on Insight Timer called Embracing the Hag. It's a great one to work with, especially as we're in this fertile dark of creativity and, you know, working with those inner parts of us that we feel like are ugly or not ready for prime time, or, you know, the things that we need to let go of. So it really ended up kind of being almost like an energy healing, that practice. It's really beautiful. So you can find that on my website as well, or you can follow me on Insight Timer. All right. Take care. Love you so much. Namaste.